just me and my guitar.
Hey, what's happening guys? Mark back here in the shed on Mark's Aquatics. Today we're going to make a very simple little floating moss ball, which anyone can do. Really easy to make. All you need is some of this foam. You get it in packing boxes and all that kind of stuff. It's actually sealed air. It's like not the stuff that you pop, even though if you do pop it, you hear it. It does pop slightly. It's just little cells which they inject, and it floats really, really well. So what you got to do is cut yourself off a little square of this stuff. You can hear the oxygen being released now as we cut through it. You can make these as big as small as you like. I'm just going to make a nice little small one. So you cut first of all you cut your little square out like that, and you just start trimming off the corners. Doesn't have to be perfectly round, but just start snipping the corners off until you form that shape that you're after. These look absolutely fabulous in the tank. They really do. They really look like they're floating. Now if you're a younger viewer and your dad's into his fishing, ask him if you can have some of his catgut out of his tackle box. But you want, obviously, the thinner the catgut you get, the more like this is the more it's going to look like this is actually floating in your aquarium. So it's a good way to do it. You need a little hot glue gun as well. So now you got a nice round ball like that. Well, roundish. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. We can put that there. Now what we've got to do is we've got to get our piece of stone. Now I'm quite lucky. I got this nice little bit of decorative stone here from one of the aquascapes I did a while ago. I think it's Syria or something it's called, this rock mountain stone. It comes from a variety of names. There's a couple of different types there, but it's really nice. But what you can do is you can stick your you can put the moss onto that as well, so you can hide that as well, but that's just your weight to hold this ball in position in your tank, that's all. So what we're going to do is we're going to glue that whatever length or height your aquarium is, so you've just got that floating moss ball on the top there, which looks really effective in your tank. And you can grow it, and as it grows you can shape it then to whatever style you like. But what I've got here is Java moss. Now this stuff grows quite quick, and what I would tend to do is, if you get that, you literally just wrap it around like this. Okay, don't be too worried if you get a little bit coming out the side. Sorry, don't worry if you see a bit of this through the side, because that's going to cover in no time at all. Okay, but then what you do is you can hot glue gun that on in bits if you like, or you can use cotton. Now I've got cotton, so I'm going to use a glue gun to put the catgut on, but I'm going to use the cotton to put this on here and to make sure it's surrounded. So you can tease it apart like that. So you make like a nice little web, and you know then it's going to go all over there. So you just literally hold that in place with your thumb, and then grab the other end and go around, just twisting slowly as you go, just encasing all that. You don't have to go too tight, but you want it to stick to it. And you can just tie down all those little loose ends. But like I said, you don't have to do this too tight, because you don't want to cut through it, okay? And then you bring it around and you bring it to the base like that, and then you get your glue gun, get rid of the excess off the end, and then put a little blob of hot glue on there and just wipe that off like that. Okay, let the little bits, let the little string, you can trim all these off later on, but now you see, as quick as that, we've got a nice little ball of moss, which looks quite good. Right, just clear these little bits away. I like to keep a tidy little space to work. Right, that's all cleared away now. Now we've got to get some 2-pound line. Right, I've just positioned you a little bit better there so you can see. Right. Okay, now I've got to just square that up a bit. Right, like I said before, if you've got some catgut, brilliant stuff. Now I've got this, you can just see that. Can you just see it? If I held it back in my hand here, you probably see it. But that's 1.5 pounds line, that is, catgut. Very, very thin. And the thinner you get, the better you can get. Now I'm into my fishing. I've got a little hook on the end of there. Look at that, it's absolutely tiny. Now you want to remove that, so we just snip that off and stick that away somewhere so you're not going to get it in your fingers, or, and then basically you've got that. It's that thin that, oh, I've just focused on it there. Look, that's how thin it is. Now this other stuff I've got is a lot thicker, but that's a normal size. That's about 15-pound line, that is. But if you've got anyone or know anyone who you can get some from, you could use black cotton as well. Black cotton's quite it hides quite well under the water as well. So you could literally wrap it around the ball if you haven't got the catgut, and then as you've wrapped it around, put your blob of hot glue there where I've put mine, and then don't cut it but glue it, and then just leave it and get your desired length off of there, then snip it off and then just hot glue it to the rock. Okay, so you can use the cotton as well, but I've got this super thin line here, like it's like hair. So we're going to put that on. So we need a hot glue, and you find a place where you want to put it. Turn your stone around to find the best angle. If you can find a little hole in the stone, better still. I think it will look quite nice like that, to be honest. So I'm just gonna, now the stone is going to take the heat out the glue quite quickly, so if you put a blob on the top and then just poke the catgut into it, then you're just going to have to hold it. I'm going to put this on here and then just put a blob on the top. But you're going to have to watch it. Now just hold it up straight. Try and get you a bit of better view on there. With this very fine line though, you've got to be careful because it will melt. So you'll have to leave that now for a minute. Give it a blow. Like I said, the stone being cold will take that glue, it'll take the heat out of that glue quite quickly. There you go. So now that's just on there now, look, the little tiny blob of glue. Now you can leave the stone as is, because that can look quite nice, or you can put some other bits of moss and things on there as well, which I think I'll do, because I like my moss and my the old subwaza tang and stuff, and I've got quite a bit of that in my system. So I'll tell you, a really good place to find this Java moss, guys, is on eBay. You can buy a tray as big as your hand, probably, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure how many grams it is, but it's quite big. I'll tell you what, the trays aren't far off of that size, okay? They're like a chip tray that you get chips in. You go to a chippy or something like that. Quite a small tray with cling film over the top, and I'm not sure of the guy who sells it on eBay, but if you have a look, it's in one of these trays and you get a heap of it for literally £6, something like that, and you'll have enough to do your tank and do all sorts of little projects. So it's worth looking around for these little deals, and it's really good stuff as well. When he doesn't skimp on it, you get quite a lot for your money, so you'll have enough to do all sorts of little projects if you if you keep that, if you buy one of those. Now that's gone off nicely. Now you can just see that's gone opaque again, and that's quite hard to touch that now. Now all we've got to do is work out how high we want this. So my tanks are about 15 inches high, and I don't want it too close to the top. I want it probably about halfway up the tank, I would have thought. So I reckon a good 7 inches up there, I would have thought. So we can just snip that off. About 7 inches there. Now I've got another piece there, so I can, sorry for my mad camera work here guys, I got the other piece safe. Put that somewhere safe, because believe me, if you put it down somewhere you won't find it again. It's that thin if you do get the lighter line. Now what we've got to do is where we've put the blob of hot glue on the bottom of there, put another blob of hot glue on the same place, and then put the other end in there, okay? Whip that out the way, find the end, and wriggle it into there. Now if you want, you can lick your finger and just touch it and flatten it out a bit, and make sure that's really gone in there. Make sure you lick your finger first though, okay? Because if you don't, it'll stick to your finger and give you a burn. And then you've got to wait now until it's dry and you can take off all the little strings. Now that is stuck nicely, you see, to there and to the rock. Now it's completely up to you guys what you want to do. I'm going to trim off the longer bits on here, because as if you've watched other videos that I've done, you'll find this stuff grows so much better when you take these bits off. Just be really careful, alright, that you don't cut through the hair, this little hair thin catgut. So if you hold it by that bit of glue at the bottom, and then you can do your trimming, taking off all those little loose ends. And where you've cut it, just like a little bush, it'll side shoot 2 or 3 new little stems where you've cut the one stem off. Just like cutting up a hedge. The more you cut a hedge, the thicker the hedge will get, and the same applies to moss. And you'll get a nice little round ball of moss floating away in the tank there. A little avatar planet floating away in your tank. I nearly ripped it out there, I nearly finished it. There's just a few more bits around the base that I've got to take off. Really being careful for that catgut, or you'll be doing it all over again. I think if you just give it a little blow like that, you'll find there's any other loose bits will just pop up, and you can get a nice little even coat then. When you put this in your tank, your little shrimps are going to go bananas all over this, because they like scavenging shrimps, as we know. And there you go, you got a lovely little moss ball there. Yeah, the shrimps, they love scavenging, as we know, and they'll come and investigate it. You can't even see that catgut. Well, I can just about see it in between there. So I think what I'll do is I'll make one more, and then we'll I think what I'm going to do actually, before we do that, I'm just going to put a little bit of moss around the top, just to hide that that little blob of glue there. Okay, so if you go underneath it, wrap it around, and you can just stick it on there like that then, and just trim off any of the little bits you like to tidy it up. And then we've got a little, so that'll be floating above there like that. There you go. So I'll do one more of those, put that one there out the way. And we'll put that one there, and I'll just stop you. I'll make the other one, and then we'll get into we'll put them in the tank then to see what they look like. Okay. Okay guys, there you go. We've made 2 of them. There's number 1. You can just see that lift in there. That very, very light catgut in between. If you wanted to buy some of that, if you go to your local tackle shop, you'll find well, if you're not unfamiliar, if you just ask for a £1 breaking strain line or 1.5 breaking strain line to the guys behind the desk, they'll point you in the right direction. Or it's a bit of a minefield for lines when you get into the angling, and they'll point you in the right direction, because it's only about, I'd say about £1, just over £1 for a roll with about 500 yards on, so you'll have enough there for the rest of your life for doing little aquarium projects. And with it being so fine, you really do not see it when it goes under the water, as it's designed to fool the fish. It does a good job, so you don't see it. So we're going to go and put these in the tanks now. We're going to put one in the crystal black tank, and we're going to put one in the crystal red tank, in the F1 tank. So let's go in there now, and I'll just pause you and we'll go and see what they look like. Okay. There you go guys, it's in the tank. The little shrimp, they're all very busy exploring the stone at the moment, and it won't take them long before they see that floating ball up there. And I can't see that catgut at all. It really does look like it's just floating there. It looks pretty cool. We go into this side now. We got the crystal blacks attacking the stone. Sorry about the glare guys. And then we got, but within a matter of a couple of weeks that'll be completely covered, and it won't be long before it looks like the shrimp hide that we made down there. So which looks pretty good now and needs another haircut already. But as always, our little shrimps, like I say, they're very inquisitive, and they're checking out that stone. Anything new in the tank and they're all over it. I planted some baby's tears in here yesterday. I've just put that little mineral ball on the top just to hold it down a bit, because it's quite buoyant, that stuff. So that'll hold it in place while those roots go into position. And I'll put another little piece over there, which looks pretty nice. Different colour green in there, something else to split the colours up. And the same with this one here. We've got our little guys chasing around and exploring, because it's something new in the tank. And we've got our number 1. There you go. Look, it looks like I've got a moss ball for a head. He's having a little pick away on there. We can come up from above and have a look down. There you go. Just like, it looks just like they're floating away there. And there's a similar thing to the coconut hide that we did there, if you remember that one. But I did that with as you can see, that one's floating. But we reversed that one. We actually go back and have a look at that one if you want to see how I made that. I'll just show you it from underneath. You can see it's just floated. It's just floating there with all the with all that weeping moss and java moss that we put on the top. And the same as that one there. If you look in the top there, you can see that one floating away, and that's just got a piece of catgut there, which goes up into my ceiling, which the wife wasn't too happy about. But there you go. This is my room. This is my room. But they're growing quite nicely now. Yes, they don't look too bad at all, those guys. So give them a go. cheap and easy to make. You can make as many as you like. You can knock some up for your mates, and before you know it, that little Java moss will be away, growing like mad, and you'll end up with a piece like that, which is on top of the tree there at the back. We'll just put the light on so you can see the tree that we did a while back. It just illuminates the trunk. There you go. I'll put a little underwater light in there just to illuminate the trunk of the tree that we made. I do like that. And then we got our floating moss ball there. So we've got quite a few little different things in here now that we've made. In fact, everything in here we've made. And it's all coming together. Here's our little shrimp bowl we made last time out of that spice dish, with our little shrimp on it that we carved with our little Dremel. All coming together nice. Anyway guys, hope you like that little short video on how to make yourself some floating moss balls. Give it a whirl and see what you can come up with. We'll come up with something completely different. My goodness, this water lettuce has gone crazy in here now. It's brilliant for taking nitrate out of the water. And all your little phosphates and all the other things that same with that side too. That's growing quite good now. If you look at the top of that tree we made, you can see the shrimp love it. They love hiding in the top of there. Hello Mr. Endlers. Anyway guys, I hope you like that little short video on how to make moss balls for your little aquariums. It doesn't have to be a shrimp tank, it could be a fish tank, it could be anything you like. A little AQUASCAPE, you can make quite a few of them of different sizes, that would be quite effective. And obviously you just got to watch the size of your foam to the size of the rock, so you make sure the rock's heavier than the foam, otherwise you'll end up with a floating rock instead of a floating ball otherwise. Alright guys, anyway, as always, love you all, you're all stars, and if you're new to the channel, pop back and have a look at some of the other videos that I've done. It might encourage you to subscribe to the channel. Anyway, love you all, you're all stars, take care, and I'll see you on the next episode of Mark's Aquatics. Bye for now.
Just me and my guitar.